What's something you've always done that you've considered perfectly normal, only to recently discover that it was not? When I was younger I hated pasta sauce, so when we ate pasta, I would grab butter and melt the butter in the pasta, and then mix in cinnamon. I did it all the time and it became normal for my family. Then I went to a friend's house and asked for cinnamon when they were serving pasta for dinner. Everyone watched me like I was a science experiment as I prepared, and then ate my cinnamon pasta. That's pretty normal children food in Germany. I was 16 years old before I realized that it wasn't normal to see double when you looked down, moved your eyes down without tilting your head. I was sitting in history class my junior year of high school, and for whatever reason that day I happened to notice that everyone was reading from their textbooks by holding their heads more or less upright, and looking down with their eyes, like almost every normal person reads. In order for me to be able to read the textbook on the desk, I had to tilt my head all the way down so that my chin basically touched my chest. That way, my eyes could stay level to my field of vision, and my vision would stay single. So I turned to my buddy Ryan. Ryan, how the heck are you reading right now? What are you talking about? How are you reading the words on the page? Don't you see double when you hold your head up like that? No? What the heck are you talking about? 1 month later, eye surgery was complete and I had most of my downward vision restored. As kids, we're constantly given eye exams to test for vision distance, but almost never for eye coordination double vision. In my case, my eyes were close enough that as observer couldn't tell by looking at them, but they weren't close enough to allow single vision for me, so I just grew up thinking it was normal to see double if you look down anywhere below eye level. It instantly explained all kinds of stuff. Why my soccer coach kept telling me to keep my head up when I was dribbling. Why I hated reading for more than a couple of minutes because it made my neck hurt like crazy. Why my driving teachers would yell at me to lift my head up out of the dashboard when I was trying to read the dials, etc. The surgery helped with most of those issues, though I never really got into reading books for long periods of time. The surgery extended my single vision to about 25 degrees below eye level. So reading things that require me to look down only works if I, mostly subconsciously, shut off one eye and look through the other one while reading. I just now realize that I do this. I have to wiggle my feet to fall asleep. When I drink something, I hold it in my mouth for a few seconds before swallowing. And not just a sip either, I like to take a huge drink and then slowly swallow it in little sips. I always thought this was the norm, until my friends asked me what the heck I was doing. I do this, it makes downing drinks a nightmare. I iron my pillowcases. I'm not saying you're a serial killer, but ironing your pillowcases ups the odds of you being a serial killer by like 500%. My toes lift up every time I take a step. I thought that was normal until this summer. Explains why my shoes have holes on the top of them. I do this. I think it is from years of flip-flops which fall off if I don't lift my toes. I talk to myself out loud when no one is around. No one knows. I once made myself laugh so hard that I cried, alone. It takes me 1-2 hours of laying in bed to fall asleep. Lights off, no distractions, every time 1-2 hours. When eating Doritos I check both sides of the chip and then the side with more flavor goes face down on my tongue. You're doing it right. I use shampoo on my pubes. I use conditioner on my pubes. I realized an American thing that was not accepted when I moved there. I come from Norway and here it isn't a big thing to ask how much money you make. It was only after a few discussions and a couple of drunken nights in the US that I figured out that this was a big no-no. I must have sounded like the biggest butthole. The worst part is that the only people being hurt by the taboo are ourselves. If you and your friends know how much each other make and you have similar jobs, you could always use that information as leverage when asking for a raise or applying at other employers. Therefore, keeping our salaries under wraps is good for the employers. Also, thank goodness for Glassdoor. When I was 5 I had terrible sinus problems. My bed was against the wall so I'd sit in bed and blow my nose and shove the used tissues in the crack between wall and bed. I realized this was very not normal when my family moved later that year and months of snotty shame were revealed with the peeling of bed from wall. My mom was so disgusted she didn't know how to punish me. If you were 15, they would have come to very different conclusions. I tend to eat one thing at a time on my plate. I didn't know it was weird until I was 17 or so. I eat the thing I like the least first and my favorite item last. When you get cheese salami at the deli and the worker offers you the slice, I'd grab it and eat it. I never realized they were just asking you if the slice thickness was okay by looking with your eyes and not with your mouth. Deli worker for 8-9 years now. Started age 16. If someone asks for a specific thickness on something, I'll hold it up for them to see and ask if it looks okay. If they ask me what something is like, I'll offer to slice a piece for them to taste. I've had a few people take the piece when I was asking if the thickness was correct, and it really didn't bother me. Figured they were hungry. I put maple syrup in my milk, in my cereals, in my yogurt, in my coffee. Yes, I am Canadian. I'm right-handed but masturbate with my left, always with the left. Brushing my teeth in the shower. Apparently people don't do this. It's such a time saver. I shave in the shower. You can get like 95% of your beard in the shower legitimately in about 10 seconds because your hair is so soft and the blade glides like freaking unicorn lube. Then you just go quickly in front of the mirror and touch up. Overall I'd say I save about an hour a week doing this. I've had tinnitus as long as I can remember. I can never hear silence. I always have a high-pitched ringing noise in my ear. It wasn't until recently that I found out that most people don't hear that noise and that I was probably crazy. Great, everything in my day was going great, but you had to bring up tinnitus, and now all I can hear is that infernal ringing. Use baby wipes for wiping. I like the clean feeling. My work has Japanese toilets that wash and dry your butt after the deed. Wiping seems a caveman-like behavior now. Not exactly me, but my friends think it's weird that my parents refer to each other as mom and dad instead of their names. My parents do that too. If I ask one of them where the other one is, they always say something along the lines of dad is outside or mom is in the office. They also refer to their parents with grandma, granddad even when they are not speaking to me about them. I like to put toothpaste on my toothbrush then wet it with water. Learned that not everyone does it. Whenever I use the toilet I first look under the rim for crickets. Me. How could someone wipe standing up? Boyfriend. That's how you do it. How can you wipe sitting down? Me. Wait, what? I used to think that sleeping nude was normal. Turns out it's not the norm. Turns out it's still as amazing as when I was 5. I can't sleep with clothes on anymore. Too stifling. Eat dry pasta. I've been known to just start munching on 4 or 5 strands of dry spaghetti at a time. I'm currently snacking on rotini. It took until college for me to realize that this is not at all normal, and that people stop and stare when they hear the loud crunching sounds. Well, I used to do it when I was a kid and dinner was taking too long. I wake up 5-10 times per night, to turn around and then fall right back to sleep. My mother thought we should see a doctor about it, until my brother said, "Doesn't everybody do that? You should probably see a doctor about that. Uninterrupted sleep can make a huge difference in your long-term health." French fries with honey. It's delicious, but people always act like I'm dipping fries in kitten blood or something. I used to do this all the time at McDonald's as a kid. I'd get honey for my McNuggets and dip the fries if there was any left over. Too bad they don't offer honey there anymore. Equals. Alright, I have to share the one about my best friend growing up. At college, we both were trying to take the fastest dump in the dorm bathroom since we lived in community living. We both run in there and I take my dump. I guess I finished first because I jumped up to look over the stall to let him know I finished and I see him smelling the poop smears on his toilet paper. I let out a AHHH bro WTF, to which he replies, "Come on man, don't act like you don't do it too." I often will bring the paper up to take a look. This is mostly to check and make sure I've wiped enough, as I will continue wiping with new pieces until I bring up nothing but white. I sleep with a pillow between my knees. It wasn't until my college roommate made fun of me for humping my pillow that I realized that this might be weird. I will often tuck a bit of the blanket between my legs. Putting chips inside a meat and cheese sandwich. People often find this weird, but it is the best thing ever because it provides some crunch. Fries on burgers, and all of the fries have to be the same length as the part of the patty they're on. My friends watched with rapt fascination when I did it in high school. I count every stair I go up and down. Also, when I step on a crack in the sidewalk, my reaction is to step on a crack equally with the next foot, so as to feel balanced. I also need to feel equal when stepping on cracks, except I need to have equal amounts on exactly what part of the foot touched it. I write most my letters characters, A, B, C, from bottom to top. Every time I write on a whiteboard and someone notices, they ask me to write a letter, then point out I am doing it wrong. Frick you, it's fine. You can read it, can't you? I thought you meant that if you were writing somebody a note, you would start at the bottom of the page and work your way up. I was intrigued about how you did this. I can pick up things with my toes, even tiny things like dimes and safety pins. It wasn't until about a year or so ago that I learned that not everyone can do that. I've only been in a Catholic church a few times. The first couple of times, I thought the kneeler thing was a footrest. Lots of dirty looks. I'm Catholic and I always use the kneeler as a footrest. I always shower after a bath. While I love the warm, relaxing feel of a bath, I don't like the idea of stewing in my own muff butt stew. If I shave my lady bits. So I shower off. My mother used to go nuts when I did it at her house, and I don't know anyone else that does it. I used to dry my teeth after brushing them by smiling as wide as I could in front of a fan. I feel very awkward if I don't raise one foot while brushing my teeth. Like Captain Morgan pose. I can't help myself. I eat the fuzzy part of kiwi. Eat popcorn with a spoon. Putting soy sauce on popcorn. If you just lightly drizzle it and then shake the popcorn like you were making a salad, then it is great. Try hot sauce. I lived in a ruralish area, so to save a trip my mother, older sister and I used to set our gyno appointments all in a row, which continued through college until the doctor retired. This doctor also saw my dad, so in theory she had her fingers in every member of my family. First time I mentioned it to someone, he was quite disturbed that we were fine potentially having our vags compared. A family friend of mine is a dentist. He once mentioned something to the effect that he often gets whole families to be his patients, and it's something of a game for him to see if the kids get more of their father's teeth, or more of their mother's teeth. For the record, I have my mother's teeth. I try to make math equations from the time on a digital clock. 329 is 3 circumflex 2 equals 9. 1236 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6, etc. This is gonna drive me freaking insane now. I do animal impressions and descriptive noises throughout the normal course of conversation. I didn't realize that others found this abnormal until my sophomore year of college. In my American short fiction class, we were discussing interpretations of a short story called Horse Camp, and someone said, "It says here the horse hwickered. What does hwicker mean?" "Oh," I said, "it's when a horse does this." And I hwickered. Like a horse. I whinnied and then hwickered, chuffing and blowing and tossing my head. There was dead silence, and then the entire class erupted into peals of laughter. I guess most people don't pretend to be animals when they are children. It's a skill, and I'm proud of my ability. Sometimes when I take a leak I get a chill, dubbed the Pee Shiver. I brought it up to a friend of mine and apparently it's never happened to them before. There's a scene in Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey pees into a bottle and gets the shivers. Fapping to fantasy. Thought everyone does that. I can count on both hands how often I did finish to a porn star. P is just to get it started. Nice. At first I thought you meant the fantasy genre, like Lord of the G-Strings and what have you. But on second glance I am right there with you, bub. I'm the only person I know that eats the entire sunflower seed. Just so you know, eating a bunch of shells can cause to become impacted, or if not chewed properly, sharp edges can get caught on various linings in your digestive system. But by golly, it's tasty. I never bought a CD or downloaded an MP3 to listen to music. I don't listen to music as a hobby or to pass the time. Apparently a lot of people find this to be strange or impossible. My mom doesn't really like music. I can't understand this. There must be a reason other than having no soul, which is my first guess. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.